Alright, so here on this Sony a7R Mark IV, to bring up the grid, you would hit Menu, and I left this on the right setting for us, but it's just digging down. This is the second page of the camera options menu. And so this camera gives us quite a few options here. We have a rule of thirds, a square. I like this diagonal plus square. It overlays kind of a lot of compositionally helpful tools on the screen. But still, ultimately, my favorite is the rule of thirds grid. It's simple, yet provides a significant amount of information. Cool. Alright, so here we have the camera app, the built-in camera app. That's fine. But if we want to see the grid placed over it for the built-in camera app, we're going to have to go to Settings. I left mine open, but it's just here in General Settings. It's iOS. Scroll down till you get to Camera, and then flip over to Grid. Turn it on. Now when we go back to the camera, we have our rule of thirds grid. You can do all sorts of interesting stuff like with it, right? We can align certain lines to it. Just for fun, make some pretty bizarre compositions this way. But it also helps you just sort of keep in mind of like where your rule of thirds is. It's very handy to have. Here, if we go to the manual camera app, here's our camera app. And if you want to bring up your grid here, you would click on the settings icon, then just turn on the grid. Done. Cool. There we got our rule of thirds grid. Cool. Let's do it with Moment camera app. I left the settings up, but here we are in Moment. This app is awesome. We click the settings sliders here above the shutter button. Cool. Scroll down through your settings. And not only do we have the rule of thirds grid, we have a square frame if you want to frame up for Instagram. We have the thirds, the one I'm going to use, and we have the golden ratio grid if that's what you're interested in. The rule of thirds grid is just fine for us to work as a guide. We'd hit done on the settings, and then here we are with grid. And then Moment has a cool built-in level. So if you know your camera is level. All right. Cool, last but not least, I'm going to show you VSCO. Trash my deck there. Cool, so with VSCO, it's this little box with an X button in it. This brings up our overlays, so you would just tap it to toggle through the available overlays. So this is our rule of thirds grid. There's a level. Even shows you tilt up and tilt down. And then you hit one more time to get everything off the screen. Like I said, I think the rule of thirds grid is extremely useful here. Bunch of like really cool minimal shots with this thing. Get some cool architectural looking stuff.